Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies. I'm your host, Annette Smith, and our guest today is Matthew G. I'm not going to say his full name. We'll just go by Matthew G. But what I do know about Matthew is that his parents are like our best friends, right? And we watched Matthew grow up, and I just appreciate him. He is now like a co-host on a TV show, and he's going to go over that a little bit at the end of this show. So I'm super grateful to have you, Matthew. I love that, you know, your mom reached out to me, and she was like, when's my podcast going to be on? And I'm like, you're like 6 months out. And I'm like, hey, do you think Matthew would do this? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, send me your number. 5 seconds later, we're like booked, scheduled. I love it. And I'm excited because you're excited. So that's awesome. So thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. You know, there's few things that I enjoy more than music. And I'm just excited. We actually have a designated time slot to be talking about this. So I'm super excited. Let's get after it.
Good. So before we get started, I always like to ask my guests what their experience was putting their playlist together. So what was your experience? What did you kind of go through? It was fast, right? You had your playlist really fast, which is impressive. Most people take weeks. Some have taken 3 months.
Honestly, I share a big passion for music as well, alongside a lot of other things. So when it's like, well, you know what is your favorite music or your favorite top 15 right now? Well, every couple months, I'll update my top 50, top 25 playlist that I'll usually find a bunch of new songs. I'll overplay them for 3 months and then I'll switch it up. So it's like, well, what am I going to do now? So I go and look at my hot country playlist 2021 right now. And I go and look, pick a couple from here, pick a couple that weren't on there. But no, it wasn't very hard because they're all the same genre and that's all I listen to. So.
Right. So how would you describe your playlist if you had to describe it to somebody?
Well, I'd like to think that country music as my favorite genre of music, and truthfully the only one that I listen to, it would be if someone, what I would always say is if someone wants to get into country music, let me be the person to show you. Because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, country music's all about your dog died, your tractor got stuck, your girlfriend broke up with you, now you're drinking on a bar stool. Well, that's not always the case. There's actually, for me, growing up on a farm, a lot of it's relatable. And so I like to listen to stuff that I can relate to. And rap or many other genres is just not that for me.
Yeah, I loved your playlist. I always love when I get the playlist really fast, where I can spend like days kind of just listening and getting an opportunity to get inside your head a little bit, for I can come up with some really cool questions for you as we go through this. So we're going to get started with the very first song. Right? Love it.
By Dirt, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's a great song. So what memory, or why do you love that song so much, Matthew?
Well, there's a line in the opening stanza. It's like the first stanza, that it's a few weeks before he turned 80, he was sitting out back in his rocker. And then my grandpa always asked me, he's like, so, and part of the lyrics is like, what have you been up to lately? And I in a different way, I say chasing that dollar. Because as a guy in his early 20s, it's all about working and then playing. Call it work hard, play hard. But and he's like, and then it's ironic that if you want my 2 cents on how to make a dollar count, and then he goes through the course of buying dirt. Well, I look at someone like my dad's story, who's worked for a couple of years and did well for himself, and then actually he left home to go work, and then he came back home, bought some land, and call it semi-retired in the best place on earth, which is Flat Lake, Alberta, where I'm from, where it's all the hunting, fishing, outdoors. So I look at that as more of call it a one day, where I say, you know, one day I'm going to buy some dirt, put a white picket fence around. Maybe that sounds a little cheesy, but buy dirt, buy some land, buy a house, and retire there one day.
It's not cheesy at all. I think more people have to get back to a simple life, right? It doesn't need to always be keeping up with the Joneses. And I love that. So Matthew, that white picket fence, do you have anybody right now to share it with? Are you single? Are you dating?
You know what? I've got a girlfriend right now. We've been dating for just over, I think, called 7 or 8 months, right in that ballpark.
Okay.
And she's passed the test of the family this far. So I guess it's up to her to stay in line to see if we're going to get that white picket fence together.
Stay in line. So how did you meet?
We met through a mutual friend. His name's Jordan Walsh, and it's just an ironic story. Friends of friends of friends. And then she saw me on one of his Instagram posts, and she said, "What's his number?" And he said, "Here it is." And then one thing led to another, and we ended up dating. I guess it's not really one of those crazy love at first sight story, not at all.
Hey, that's okay. So I'm just curious, how long did it take you before you slept with her? How many dates?
0.
The first date.
Well, yeah, you have to test drive the vehicle before you buy it, right?
I love it. So when you were out there 8 months ago dating in the crazy COVID world, were you more of a hunter or a gatherer? Did you like hunt down your prey, or did you just have a whole bunch of prey just kind of waiting for you?
You know what? I don't know. It depends on the day, I guess. Depends on the mood. But no, it just no real. No hunter gatherer. I guess it's all the same thing, isn't it? At the end.
It is. It is. So are you a boob or a butt guy?
Butt guy for sure.
Yeah, butt guy for sure. Love it. What's your girlfriend's name?
Her name's Jordan.
Jordan. You're in for trouble, Jordan.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Right. Next song. You ready?
I'm ready.
Right. Some Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I've been everywhere.
Yeah, you have like a super fun playlist that you wouldn't even know your age with this playlist, like at all. I would have never thought early 20s, never, right? So awesome playlist, by the way.
Good.
So why do you love that song?
Well, this goes back a long time. One of my cousin Brett's, one of his first albums that he ever released was this "I've Been Everywhere" song. And to me, always been a fan of Johnny Cash and always been a fan of the older country. I mean, new and old both. But this "I've Been Everywhere" song has been my most played song by a mile in the last 2 months. And I've actually gotten to a point where I can sing the song and not really fumble any of the words. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm getting better. So to me, it was more of a challenge. And we had my grandparents' 60th diamond wedding anniversary last summer at the farm. And there was about maybe 60, 80, 100 people there. And Brett called me on stage to sing it with him. And ever since then, the song has just been one of my favorites. I
love it. So you're a good singer then?
I wouldn't say that. I sing in the shower. I sing on the road with the windows down. But I don't know if I don't get scared or embarrassed very easily. So I'd probably go on stage if I was ever called up.
Good. Do you play any musical instrument, or have you?
Not currently, but there's a guitar is definitely on my list of things to do in the fall here. One of my goals for the last quarter of the year, but it's so damn hard. It's so hard. So it'll be a big mountain to climb, but we'll take one step at a time.
Yeah. So all the things that you've did, because I know that you've did a lot of hunting and fishing and all of that type of stuff. What is kind of one memory that you absolutely stands out to you that was just absolutely amazing that you experienced?
There's a couple of them. In the last couple of years, we've lost two very important people in my life, which would be my Grandpa Ray and my Uncle Mitch, both on my dad's side. And it maybe not one memory in specific, but it was all the memories of hunting, fishing, whether it's ice fishing or summer fishing, hunting for birds or hunting for deer or hunting for moose, whatever it may be. Every single memory that we've had with those two gentlemen and my father there as well has just been, it's one for the books, one for the record books, and it'll sit in the memory bank till the day I die for sure.
Yeah. Biggest fish you ever caught?
Actually, this last weekend, I set my personal best walleye record, which was 68 centimeters, I believe.
Wow, good for you.
I don't know, call it 7.5 or 8 pounds in that ballpark.
Do you speak to the fish when you fish?
No, not at all. I look for the fish that are pan size, and then the odd time you'll get a big one that you can put on the wall.
Yeah, I saw you did a fish fry. That's really cool, right?
That's right.
Taking after your dad. It's awesome. So here's another great song.
Logan Mize's "I Ain't Gotta Grow Up."
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it. So what do you love about that song?
That to me is, call it a catch-22, because as I'm supposed to be in my early 20s, mature, trying to run a business, I got a collared shirt on. There's still times where we have a few drinks and it just becomes a runaway. And then you get into one of those state of mind. You're like, you know what? Today's not the day where I'm working or being professional. I don't have to grow up today. So it's good to kind of go back down to earth every once in a while and have a good time.
Yeah, I agree too. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite family vacation that you have done?
Family vacation. Well, things have changed in the last couple of years. When I was growing up, I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii many times with my dad and his company for work. which is something that I'm very, very grateful for. And that was obviously a lot of fun hanging out with a lot of my family around the pool in Hawaii. But recently, I mean, even next week, we're going to the Northwest Territories to go fish. In the next year, we might be looking at a New Zealand or Africa trip for hunting with the show, or even a big Alaskan bull moose hunt. So I don't know if I call those vacations. The ones I've been on so far, they've been great with my family in the tropical places. But I think I'm really starting to itch to go and harvest some trophy animals with our hunting show. And those trips are a lot less expensive because the hunting show helped us out with that.
So are you stuffing any of these animals?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because there's a big misconception when it comes to hunting. It's like you're hunting just to kill and get the horns. Well, for us, that's an aspect of it, but you can't see here. There's obviously my office background, but in our garage, there's all the mounts of the horns to put on the wall and things like that. But we also eat every ounce of every animal that we harvest too.
Yeah. So who do you like better right now, your mom or your dad?
You know what? I'm in a lucky place that even if they listen to this, no one can actually, they won't even disagree. They're like, oh, you were on camera, you had to be nice. But I love both my parents. They're great. They're great people.
What do you love most about them?
My dad is what you would call that, like perfect mix of like strict and sturdy, but like also an incredibly fun guy. He gets along with my buddies. He's the jokester, prankster. They're both always there for me. They have my back. My mom is such a sweetheart. She is the most down-to-earth person I know. And I mean, for both of them, sometimes people have a favorite parent. I honestly don't. It's I know I can call each of them whenever I need, whether it's 3 a.m. they're pulling me out of jail, posting a bail or something, or I just need a ride home from the bar, or say, hey, you know what? I'm leaving Sherwood Park. I'm driving to your place. I'll be there in 2 hours. Leave the door unlocked. Whatever it may be, they'll always be there.
So tell me about a time you had to phone your mom or your dad to bail you out of something.
You see, I've never, the jail was a little bit of an extreme, never had anything like that. But the first one that comes to mind is, I want to say in 2017, I was just had my driver's license for the first 18 months. And we were winter driving and I slid my mom's nice Dodge Ram right into one of those yellow grader poles here in Sherwood Park. And I called my dad at 2:30, and you can imagine he's been sleeping for 2 hours already. And he calls like, hello. Well, I had to wrangle him out of bed to get him to come pick me up. And to say the least, he wasn't thrilled about the whole situation, but he took the night to cool off. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I was 16 once too. So we've moved on from that. We still make jokes about it.
Good that you moved on from that.
Yeah.
All right, next song. You ready?
I'm ready. Country Again, Thomas Rhett.
I can actually see you playing guitar to that song.
That's one of the first 5 that are on the list to learn.
That's awesome. So why do you love that song?
Well, it almost ties back to what I said earlier. I'm going to kind of run back a little bit, but it's when I'm here in the city, it's work, it's focus, it's a lot of early nights or late nights, early mornings. And it just it's very routine, which I like. And I work best in a routine. But then there comes a certain time where it's like, you know what, I have my grandparents there, all my extended family out there, my parents out there, everybody's in St. Paul, Alberta, which is about a 2-hour and 20-minute drive from my house here in Sherwood Park. But it's country again. It's having the chance to, I want to call it, play 2 different lives or wear 2 different hats. I get to be here and be a professional businessman trying to build a company and working hard with that. And then I get to go on the weekends or whenever I have the chance to go hunt, fish, and really touch down to my roots, which is where I grew up and what I was taught to do from a very young age.
Yeah. And the exciting thing about this, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I know for myself, being able to do Music Junkies, it has allowed me to bring creativity back into my life, which was one thing that was really lacking in my life, just doing the business for so long. And this is like eat and sleep and breathe. That's all I did. So when Music Junkies came kind of into fruition, it was incredible because it gave me more energy. So I'm assuming you feel the same way after you go and hunt and fish and go do those things that kind of bring you back to your core values. You can then go back and build, a business. I feel like I have way more energy, way more patience, way more understanding, and I can handle more adversity just being able to do some of those things that I love. Right. So I'm assuming you feel the same way because I can see the transition and the difference in myself. And I've already seen it in you already doing that, being so young in the business. Right. Because it is a lot when you're first starting, right? It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the scariest thing you've ever done, Matthew?
We did an Australia trip right
Yeah.
out of graduation in 2018. And we did skydiving, we did bungee jumping. We've done a lot of dumb stuff before, but that was more supervised danger instead of doing quadding or dirt bike racing or some of those crazy things that I did when I was younger. But no, definitely skydiving was probably the biggest rush I've ever done. I had my Apple Watch on it and it gave me an alert and it's saying like, are you on an elliptical right now? Because your heart rate was so high. You're just sitting on the edge of the plane and I look over and it beeps. My heart rate's at like 160. And
Right.
that was really interesting. It was a great experience.
I don't think I could do that. I'd have to do the one, like the tandem one.
It was. We were
Okay.
we were tandem.
Yeah, because he would have to push me out of the plane. I don't think that I would physically walk my ass off that plane. I'd just close my eyes and be like, okay, go.
Yeah.
So next song, Dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's a great song. Why do you love that song so much?
Well, to me, Morgan Wallen right now at this point in time is the epitome of country music. He is the pinnacle. He's holding all the records. He's breaking all the records, and he's releasing so many songs. And if you'll notice on my top 15 list, I think there's 3 or 4, maybe even 5 that were all by Morgan Wallen on there, because again, just so relatable. Like is Dangerous is one of those. This would be one of the very first songs that I would introduce somebody to in country music. I wouldn't throw them right into like the I've Been Everywhere right away.
Yeah.
I'd kind of break them in nice and easy. But this is a song where it's like fast, upbeat. You can tap your toe, snap your fingers. You can dance to it if you want. It's not necessarily that stereotype of country and like rah rah. It's so slow, so boring. That's one of the more, I call it like a pop country mix.
Yeah, for sure. So what attracted you most to your now girlfriend when you met her?
Maybe the danger. Maybe I'll segue right from that. No, I mean, I'm a very, very much so like type A personality, outgoing, loud, outspoken, sometimes too loud and too outspoken. But she's a lot more like me in that way, but she also kind of grounds me, brings me back down a little bit too. And so before it's just a match. I'm not a fan, and I do not believe whatsoever that opposites attract. I believe that like attracts like. And I was telling myself for a long time, I said, you know what, a girlfriend's gonna walk into my life here, a girl that I can date that'll challenge me to be better. And then she came in and really checked off a lot of those boxes that I was looking for. So I'm like, you know what? What's the worst case scenario? It's experience, right? So
That's
but
right.
she's a great girl, her family's great and everything like
That's
that.
awesome. So do you think at your age, you know what women want?
Yes.
You do. Okay, let's hear it. What do you think we want?
I don't know, stability, compassion, communication. It's it's pretty simple actually. And not to, I mean, I'll tell you this, the female mind is something that I'm not sure anybody will fully understand, but I do a lot of reading and personal growth and development books in my spare time. And I read a book called Men Are From Venus and Girls Are From Mars.
Yeah.
Or Men Are From Mars, Girls Are From Venus, sorry, by the way. And it just talks a lot about how the female mind works, how to communicate, how to be better, I guess. I don't know if I call it the yes man, but I've heard a lot of happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just agree when I know I think I'm right, but she also thinks she's right, but I'm okay with being wrong.
7 months in and already knows. Wow. It's impressive.
Well, I don't know everything, but I'm still learning, obviously. So
what are some things that you learned from your parents about a marriage and obviously being in a committed relationship for so long that they have been in?
Yeah, well, I look at one thing like there's tough times don't last, tough people do. And every marriage has their ups and downs and goods, greats, bads, uglies, whatever it may be. But you realize like when you're marrying somebody, that's a lifelong commitment. So it's whether we go through hell or we go through high water, you're bound at the hip and you got the same ring on your left hand. So that's something that's regardless of what a lot of people think. And I know divorce rates are incredibly high nowadays, but what I've learned from my parents and my dad, especially having a lot of conversations with him about girls growing up, call it, he said, not in any rush to get married, but realize that you better be damn sure that this is the one when you marry her, because divorces are messy. Yeah. So he's like, make sure you find the right one. And yeah, so no, I look up to my parents in a lot of ways. I don't know if it's one specific thing, but I'm more of I have like my binoculars on 24/7 when I'm around people. I take the good, leave the bad, and I try to model myself off of a lot of the role models I have in my life.
Yeah. So what did you think of me when you first met me?
Crazy. Fun, good time though. Actually, out of all the people that we've had out to the lake or to the farm or spent some time with, you and Tyler are way up on that list for sure.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with you guys for sure. I love that. I always want to ask people that question, but sometimes you might not want to know the different, not want to know the answer, but I like crazy, so I'm okay with that. Right, next song.
Luke Combs, When It Rains It Pours.
It's a great song. Hey, great song. Is there a story behind that song or a memory?
Well, when it first came out, I believe the year was either 16 or 17. That was just on the top of the charts for a whole year, just over and over and over. But the reason why I'm so drawn to the song is because the music video for it is hilarious. It's his girlfriend gets mad at him for partying too much, and then he hits this like streak of good luck. Wins scratch-off tickets, a free quad, golf rounds, a trip to Mexico. He calls the girl from Hooters, and she picks up on the first ring. And it just luck after luck after luck. And then he goes on like a 4-week party spree. And I encourage anybody who's watching this to watch that music video. You'll get a good chuckle.
What's the biggest lie you ever told anyone?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You ever told a lie and then got caught for it later on and realized it probably wasn't the best lie to tell and you could have reworded the lie to make it even better?
Yeah, true. I'm sure that's happened before. I probably lied a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
But recently I'd rather come forward and deal with it head on than have to lie and then lie about my lie and then like spin this like web that I'll lose track of. And honestly, my grandpa says a lot on my mom's side. He's like, I'm not ashamed, scared, or embarrassed. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Me neither. If I did something wrong, I'll own it and say, screw it. You guys I'll take my heat now, but at least I can take it now and I won't get it forever.
Right. So remember that, because this next question, I want to know if you would sell Ellie for $1 million.
No, not a chance. Never. I love that dog more than 90% of the people I know, to be honest with you. No, I would never get rid of that dog.
I love asking people that question because shows attachment, how much they love their animals, right? All right, ready? Next song.
Ready?
Some Luke Combs again. It was One Too Many.
One Too Many. Luke Combs. Yeah.
Sounds like you drank to that song.
Oh yeah, a couple times.
Tell me about the worst drinking story you've ever had.
Oh boy, how long is my time slot on here? We might be on here for a couple hours. There's a line in that song. It says like, I can't turn it off once I turn it on. And that's a lot for me. It's either I'm off completely or I'm on. There's I don't know. There's a couple times where one drink turns into a 2-beer buzz. That's a Thomas Rhett song, but or a Hardy song, sorry. And one drink starts, and then it goes to 2, then it goes to 10, and then it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 too many. So one of my worst drinking experiences, I don't know, it was my buddy's 18th birthday party. We went to the ranch in Edmonton here. This is long before it shut down. But just drank too much, and I felt like I was in a coma the next day, or I should have been at least. And I did nothing the next day other than exist. No productivity. I barely got out of my bed. Then it was the day before Thanksgiving in 2018. I think it was October 5th, the night we went out. And we went to my grandma's house later that evening. I couldn't even eat Thanksgiving supper. I was so hungover.
I do not like that feeling at all.
Not fun. And then you always tell yourself, you know what? I am never drinking that much again. Ever again. But you always lie to yourself.
Next weekend, you're having a few drinks again. Do you have any fears? What's your biggest fear?
Fears? I'm not really scared of anything psychologically, but I'm petrified of the deep ocean.
Oh.
I don't like the whole scuba diving scene or cliff jumping into the ocean. I just think like sharks, pretty scary. Can't defend yourself. Can't swim. Can't breathe underwater. Like, ugh. Sharks are, yeah, not a fan. But luckily here in Alberta, we don't have to deal with that problem very much. So.
That's right. Sand sharks, like, or Sharknado or something like that, we'd have to be really careful of.
Yeah.
What's your favorite B movie out there?
B movie?
Yeah. Do you know what a B movie is? It'd be like Sharknado. Sharknado would be like a type of a B movie.
Oh, I've never heard of that term before. I thought you were referring to that kids movie where it is called the B movie.
Oh, is it? I wouldn't even know.
No, I don't even know how to answer that. I don't even know what a B movie is, to be honest.
Do you like ridiculously stupid horror movies?
No, God, no.
No. What's your favorite type of movie that you watch?
Well, comedy, action, but for me, the things that I enjoy the most is like right here. There's an Avengers poster that I have kind of back there is a corner piece. But I like action movies. Obviously, those aren't realistic because there's no Spider-Man or Iron Man or anything like that. But no, a good comedy like the Jump Street movies are great. The Hangover ones are great. I just watched The Campaign the other night with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. That's just a great movie. It's either a movie that you have to sit forward in your seat or a movie that has you laying back, laughing, holding your chest. So one of those two movies.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Iron Man for sure.
Yeah? How come?
Well, because he's the closest thing to a modern day Elon Musk. There's a line in his movies. It's like, take away the suit. What are you? And he's like, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. I'm like, you know what? If I could have that super suit, be a multi-billionaire, and be a philanthropist, that'd be okay with me.
Yeah, I agree. I would too. Right, ready for the next song? I'm gonna mix it up a little bit.
All right.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, Diamond Rio. Diamond Rio's
Meet Me in the Middle.
Meet Me in the Middle. I was gonna say Sliding Your Way. Brett just did a remake of that one, but yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So what do you love about that song?
That to me is just like a classic, amazing country song that I'm just a huge fan of. It's sing along, it's good, it's a good vibe too, and it's a foot tapper. So there's nothing that can go wrong for that song, and that's something that's more obviously older country. But if that's something that appeals to someone, there's a lot of people that know that song, and a lot of people that's probably high on their 90s, 90s country playlist.
Yeah. So who is your musical influence? Because your dad is like an 80s hair band rock nation, and your mom obviously is lots of country. She loves country. So who's kind of
I would say my cousin Brett.
Yeah.
Obviously he's had a successful music career up to this point, and just him and I, although we share a 10-year gap in age, we're pretty close in terms of more of like maybe we're cousins, but it's more like brothers, an older brother. And it was all that time spent at the farm. We share a set of grandparents on my mom's side, and we go there and spend time and do redneck things and listen to country music. So things like that always stuck. He's been for sure been my biggest influence in music taste.
I love it. Do you have any heroes in your life?
I think that's a very interesting question because heroes don't exist. Heroes aren't real. They're superheroes, obviously. But heroes, yeah, I mean, I look up to people, but heroes to me are people that don't have flaws. And everybody has flaws, but heroes, maybe not. I'd call it really good influences I have in my life, as it be in the business world, fitness world, personal growth world, the hunting world, whatever it may be. Lots of good influences, but the person that's probably closest to my hero would be my dad for sure. But again, as one of my best friends, he is, and one of the people I'm closest with. Heroes are a loaded question. I don't know if I believe so much in heroes.
I love the way you answered that because I absolutely agree too. Because I always feel like a hero is somebody that you can never stand to achieve to, right? Mm-hmm. It's like they're always going to be greater than me, and I just don't agree with that. Mm-hmm. I believe you can stand side by side. Okay, so totally off the cusp, if you were a stripper, right, a male dancer, what would be your stage name?
I saw that there was a picture on Facebook. It's like the color of your shirt and the last thing you ate.
Oh, okay, let's try.
Yeah, yesterday I would have been a red chicken breast. So that'd be pretty interesting.
I think you would get a lot of ladies coming to your show because they might be a little interested in what do you got downstairs? They might.
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought of that before. What my name would be if I was a stripper. That'd be pretty.
You'd be surprised how many people do think of that.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that'd be like my backup plan.
I feel like you should ask your dad after this show. I bet you he would know what his stage name would be.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's pretty quick on his feet. He'd know right away.
Right, next song. Takes a little bit.
The Bowl by Kit Moore.
Yeah, it's a great song. Do you have some memories from that song?
Maybe not memories. I mean, we used to do a lot of we used to ride cattle back in the day, and I shared something on my Facebook a couple of days ago of this is something that I would do as a kid, which is just go and jump on a cow that's sitting there as a 2 or 3 year old. But maybe that ties in, like, thanks to the bulls that bucked me off. I was never a bull rider, so I don't know. We used to ride them for fun, but never in competition. But I just think that song is a crazy good beat, and that's definitely another one, a soon one that I would introduce to somebody who's just coming into country music.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you ever seen your mom and dad do?
Their skydiving video again. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've seen them do some pretty questionable things over the years. It just, it's like, I don't know. It usually involves after a couple of drinks. I mean, my dad is a prankster, so he'll get anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter if you just met him, you're not safe at all around him. So you better have your sixth sense going. But no, there's a lot of good fun times that we've done, and whether it's late nights out or we go to Vegas, we stay out pretty late. Or, I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff that we do.
A lot of fun stuff for sure. So if you woke up one day and you're the opposite sex, what's the first thing that you would do?
I don't know. I'd probably go get a bunch of free drinks somewhere. Girls get free drinks everywhere.
Go get a bunch of free drinks. I love it. Okay, we're gonna drop some Kissel.
Yeah, the make a life, not a living.
Okay, so I want you to just talk a little bit about why you love that song.
Well, that to me right now, that is, and probably all time, that's probably my favorite song. A couple reasons is, one, I've got to listen to a lot of Brett's music a year in advance before it's released to the public. So I really kind of wrap my head around and heart around that song this is probably over a year ago now. And I think that the truth is in the title, and anybody that's listened to that song or heard of it said a lyric in there's, I'm trying to make a life, not a living. Well, there's a fine line between making a life, and you can be very happy and content with that. But if you want to go out there and make a living, and you can make a living and be content. But if you want to go out there and truly build a life and make a legacy and travel the world, do all the things that not everybody else gets to do, that comes with a lot of front end loaded time, and it comes with a lot of delayed gratification. But ultimately, I don't believe that anybody's necessarily put on this earth to be average and normal. We have enough average and normal people as it is. We should all be focused on making a life and not so much a living. So that's kind of led to the fact where, I mean, I'm trying to build a business here in the city, trying to build a hunting show, trying to travel the world and hunt and fish and travel the world for fun too with our company. And I don't know, just doing a lot of things that are on my bucket list that not everybody gets to do at such a young age, but that does come with a lot of hard work.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you doing right now on this side, Matthew? Besides your business, you are co-hosting a TV show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a co-host. I'm a co-host on a TV show that we have with my cousin Brett Kissel, my dad and I, Derrick Germain, and a good family friend of ours and our executive producer, Jordan Walsh. It's called Backwoods Backstage, and it's basically a hunting and fishing show, an outdoor show. I wouldn't necessarily put it as hunting and fishing, but outdoors. And there's a lot of times where, I don't know, it's just something, it's a very interesting side project for me that we have the ability to, the business sense kind of plays into that, where we are attracting sponsorships and marketing and whatnot. But it's also the fact that we get to do once in a lifetime hunts for discounted, if not free cost. And we get to have somebody follow us around and film it. So it's not so much about the publicity or whatnot, but it's just more about the experiences that I get to share with my dad and Brett, his family, and Jordan is a very, very close friend of ours. And next week we're headed up to the territories. I think I said that earlier, just to go fish on some lakes that have never been fished before. Maybe catch a world record fish. You never know.
It's crazy.
Some of the opportunities.
Where did the idea come from?
The idea came from a bunch of Captain Morgans and a poker table at about 3:45 in the morning a couple of years ago. So one thing led to another, and we're like, you know what we should do? We hunt and fish anyways as a group all the time. Why don't we just have a camera crew follow us around? Well, Jordan had the connections with Sportsman Canada channel, which is what it's on your provider, a TV provider. Brett had the name and the brand. My dad and I had the experience and the know how of what lakes are where and where the deer are, where the moose are. So like, you know, we can make a pretty good team. We have all the pieces that we could put together.
And it just makes such a good show because of that. And you going in with not wanting to really make millions of dollars and just going in on this project with it's something that you love. I feel like organically these types of projects make millions of dollars because you're doing it from the heart and you're doing it because you love it and it's your values and all the things that are important to you. So it's very exciting to watch the the baby stages of this, right, come into fruition. And I love it, right? I can see it all over your dad's face. And he's just, you know, I know a year ago, he was just kind of at this tipping point, and I just seen like passion back in his eyes talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that is like, brings Tyler and I lots of joy. Like we're super excited for you guys, and it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to hear, and it's nice to see for sure. So our last song, can you believe that? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Die to Go Home.
It is Die to Go Home for sure. Obviously by Brett Kissel. And I wanted to, your last question, I wanted to ask you two, because I just can't ask you one. But one question I'd like to ask you is, if you, with all the life that you kind of grew up with, any adversity that you went through, what is some piece of advice that you would give somebody, you know, growing up, maybe went through the same heartaches as you did? What's some words of wisdom that you would share?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody goes through different stages of their life. I call them test periods. Instead of, you know, my life sucks, this and that. No, you're just in a test period right now. But actually, the background on my phone that I have here, it's something I always tell myself when shit hits the fan, or when you're going through something that you're really not enjoying, or it's hard, it sucks, it's Wednesday, whatever it is for you. It says in here, it says, I always let my future self decide. It said, if you're stuck on what path to take, or you've came to a crossroads, go 10 or 15 years into the future and imagine you're everything you ever wanted to be. You have the house, the wife, the income, the business, the fitness. You have everything you've ever dreamt of and ever wanted to be. What would that version of yourself tell you to do today? So I guess, I don't know, there's a gentleman who I look up to a lot. His name is Real Michaud, and he talks a lot about not waiting. And he said, don't wait to do it now, and then look back after and do it. So it's more one of those things of, if you had everything you already wanted, what would that version of yourself tell you to do? It'd probably tell you to suck it up, quit being a pussy, and get your ass in gear, right?
Yeah, for sure. Great words of wisdom. I love it. Now, I just want to really give you the opportunity to really kind of talk about your brand, right? What you guys are doing, where people can find you, how they can find you. And then, like I said, I'll be able to kind of plaster that all over when I'm promoting your podcast as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, a lot of the stuff that we run and promote is everything's done through Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram at Matt_Germain. And then in there, you'll find the TV show in my bio. You'll find a lot of the people and a lot of my posts, what my circle is, what I want my brand to be like. But at the end of the day, the vision that I have for myself going forward the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be, you know, however long it may take, is when I'm not out in the wilderness, I'm sitting here trying to build my business and continuing to do that. And then eventually I have an idea that the business and the hunting show and whatever else may come in that time are going to merge, and they're going to get along very well. And I don't know, I'm trying to make a life, not a living.
I love it. Thank you so much, Matthew. I so appreciated you today being on the show. So anyone and everyone, like, subscribe, follow Matthew and myself. And I hope you enjoyed yourself today.
Perfect. Well, make sure when you share it, you tag me in all of it, and then I'll reshare it and repost it. So, but yeah, thank you for having me on. I had a great time.
You're welcome.